The recording has started.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the September 17th, 2025 meeting of the Livable Roadways Committee. I don't know that we're going to make quorum, so we're just going to go ahead and get started today. And if we make quorum, yay! So we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll wait for a second to let everybody settle in, and then we'll oh, no worries. Like I said, let everybody settle in. If folks don't mind standing for the pledge, if you are able. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Today, when we're doing our introductions, instead of people having a roll call, we're just going to go around the room and say who we are, what capacity we're here for, and where in the county do you live. So if you live in the city, like a neighborhood you live in, if you live in the county, the area, just as we continue every month, we'll just kind of ask a different question so that people learn a little bit more about everybody's background, so we can know how to reach out and to use all of our capacities the best we can.
I have an alternate suggestion.
Okay.
For the question.
Okay.
What everyone is doing for World Car Free Day on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then we'll do both. So yes. So we'll just go ahead and go around the room.
I am Emily Hinsdale, and my position here is, I believe, community advocate through my work with Sidewalk Stompers and Walk Bike Tampa. I live in South Tampa, and for World Car Free Day, I will be hosting the Kittical Mass Bike Ride, led by Councilmember Lynn Hurtak.
Karen Kress. I am representing the Tampa Downtown Partnership. I live, proud city of Tampa resident. I live in the Seminole Heights neighborhood, and I will be at the Encore downtown site all day. So please stop by and see me.
I'm Megan Winchester from Community Infrastructure Planning with the county. I'm here as Rebecca Hessinger's alternate. I live in South Tampa, kind of by Mcdill Air Force Base. I'm not doing anything special for that, as I will be coaching soccer. So I do have to drive to that.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Omar Pirzada. I represent the Hillsborough Transit Authority part. I'm from Brandon. I lived there my whole childhood. I live in St. Pete right now, but I'm actually moving back to this side by the end of this year. So, and then for World Car Free Day, helping a friend move, and I need a car for that, unfortunately. So, I do what you got to do.
The heart is participating.
Yeah.
They are participating, yes. Just, on me on Saturday.
Arizona GK, I live in E1DD off of the Charger and 24th, 88 Alligator. I live in a lot of hits. I was on that board. I was on that board. I worked for the governor of the biggest board in Orlando. Every day there was 88.
Great. Do we have any online folks that would like to introduce themselves?
Yes, we have a few. Should I put?
Yeah.
I'm Danielle.
I'm Danielle Riffenberg. I'm a landscape architect with City of Tampa Parks and Recreation Department. I live kind of north of Carrollwood, and Saturday I'm very happy to stay home and walk.
My name is Lori Belangia. I'm with the school board, and my role here is pretty much to see what areas people may point out that the school board needs to address for better transportation needs for the students. I live out of county, and I second the person before me. Saturdays and Sundays, I am happy to not drive anywhere.
Great.
We have a few other member or not members.
Oh, I see Kathy on there.
Yes, Kathy.
Hi, my name is Catherine Coyle, born and raised in Sarasota, moved to Tampa in 92 to go to college, and I never went back to Sarasota until now. I have a second house down there now. And when I go there, I do my best not to drive. I will be there this weekend, working on the house. And I live in Seminole Heights, and I moved into Seminole Heights in January of 96 before most anybody lived in Seminole Heights when you could buy a house for $36,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frank? Frank, I think you just joined, but we're doing introductions where what agency you represent, where you live in the county, and what you're doing for World Car Free Day this Saturday.
I'm Frank Kokenauer, senior engineer in the Plant City Engineering Department. Mostly I get involved in capital improvement projects, not so much the site development things, but and we do have a bunch of sidewalk projects going on. We're doing a lot of sidewalk expansion these days. Personally, I live in Polk County, North Lakeland, have for most of my life. I did live in Sarasota for a little while. I understand why somebody wouldn't want to stay there. It's not like old Florida, but oh, and what'd you say? No carb Friday, Saturday? Is that what you said?
Yes, World Car Free Day on Saturday. Yes, if you're doing anything to celebrate.
Nope, it's my wife's birthday. No telling what we're gonna do.
Is there anyone else?
I don't believe member.
Okay, and then I'm Councilwoman Lynn Pertak. I live in Seminole Heights, and for World Car Free Day, I am leading a ride to Kittical, Mass. I am leading Kittical, Mass, biking home, and then leading a bus ride from Jug and Bottle down to Encore and then back. So doing all the things for World Car Free Day, and I want to thank everyone for participating.
Yeah, I'm Connor Trejos McDonald, the TPO staff and your LRC liaison. I just recently moved to Tampa Heights. Actually, we're renting Justin Willett's house.
Okay.
Yeah, the World Car Free Day. I'm actually going to New York this weekend, so. But
So-
World,
Yeah, so you won't be in the dark. So it all works out. Well, again, really appreciate everybody and what they're working on. And again, I just think the more we kind of learn about each other, the parts of the county in which we live, as we start talking about some of these projects, I think it helps to realize kind of where folks are and the specialties that they can lend itself. I don't know that we have anyone for public comment today. Anybody? Okay. So we cannot do we don't have a quorum, so we cannot approve minutes. As far as the action item for the survey, I think we can talk about it and just not necessarily approve anything.
absolutely.
So we'll leave it to Mr. Trejos McDonald to kick us off today.
Share the screen. And
Oh, and I apologize. This is the first name group. So Connor, sorry. Yeah. Last night was budget night and I'm still. Yeah. Expecting it to be a Friday. Yeah. It's just.
okay, as mentioned, I'm Connor Trejos McDonald, TPO staff and your LRC liaison. Last month, we talked about some potential bylaw changes. And what came out of that conversation ultimately was to conduct a survey. So I'm going to go through those results with you and kind of some suggestions that we have as staff. So the first question was on time and day options, if we should move the meeting to an alternate day or time. And this is in an effort to kind of have more say on action items. However, the top result was keeping the meeting on the third Wednesday at 9 a.m. And the second was first Mondays, and the third first Tuesdays. But ultimately, that number one was keeping. And then meeting frequency, most of you responded that meeting every month is still beneficial. So the recommendation is to go with that as well. So agencies not represented, we had excellent feedback on this one. So one of them was Commissioner or Council Member Aids. And I'll kind of go through these and tell you what staff and our TPO executive directors. So the first one is Commissioner and Council Member Aids, and we thought this was a great idea. However, there will be some potential sunshine violations with that. So it would be tricky to do that. We're not recommending it at this time. City of Tampa, Hillsborough County Public School Safety will definitely encourage more participation, in-person participation from the schools. And then University Area CDC or similar nonprofit and also neighborhood leaders or associations. The reason I'm kind of grouping those together is because we feel like it's a similar goal that the respondents are getting at. These are anonymous responses. And with a nonprofit or a CDC, we would be choosing a locale, right? So it might be difficult to kind of open that box, because then we would need to open it to all the CDCs. But with the neighborhood leaders and associations, we do have some thoughts there. The representative for neighborhoods is that seat is vacant as it stands. So we're actively recruiting that, and Lisa, the previous LRC liaison, gave some great leads on us.
Oh.
If you,
And you missed one, the representation.
oh
is
yes,
Good.
so one response was that the representation was good, but better in-person attendance would be beneficial. So that's highly encouraged for those of you who are online to really come in person. It's a great view. Downtown is fun, so I really encourage it. I'm happy to grab coffee with anyone afterwards. Some of the topic ideas. One was that we could have companies that provide amenities like trees or signage. That's definitely a great idea and something we can certainly work on. Optional field visits to new projects or areas in need of improvement. This is an excellent idea, and we can kind of work with this alongside projects that are in design phase. So I printed out some of the City of Tampa CIPs, the projects that are in design. So if you want to circle or just mark down, with your pen highlighter or whatever you have to see what projects you would be interested in seeing, I can certainly reach out to the staff responsible from the city, and we can work on getting those presentations.
But not only that, every month we'll have a different municipality. So we'll look at Temple Terrace, we'll have this for maybe Temple Terrace next month, or Plant City, or the county as a whole. So we can just start to familiarize ourselves with the projects that are happening. And as we kind of learn about them, figure out where we would like to focus our energy.
Another idea was private developments that interface with the public realm. And that's certainly a great idea as well. So we'll take that, fun with that as well. And also the county state routes to school program. And we have been working on that for a while, and hopefully we'll see that soon. Some other remarks, 100% of the respondents said they prefer a reasonable balance of both members and staff suggestions, both finding topics. So occasionally I will solicit topics from you all, see what you're thinking. And I think, marking down the design projects will also help with that. In addition, 100% said they feel adequately prepared to facilitate discussion and make motions. So that was good to know that the respondents feel like they're empowered and prepared and knowledgeable to talk about the topics we have for you. Some other comments, in-person attendance is cumbersome and regular in-person attendance is a challenge. We definitely recognize that. However, we really would encourage the in-person participation. It's really beneficial for us all to be able to discuss collaboratively in the same room. Another point was to ask members which projects they're involved in or aware of relevant to LRC. So it's definitely something we can do maybe as part of the roll call. And the staff recommendation today is recommends TPO board amend the TPO bylaws to remove a position that's currently on our roster. With the new North Tampa Transportation Alliance is now defunct to the best of our knowledge. So the recommendation would be to recommend the board amend the bylaws to remove that representative. And then also direct staff to identify a suitable representative for your votes. I recognize that it's an action item. We still can recommend them to go forward, approve, without the quorum here today. But I haven't saved any further comments or questions or any ideas that you have.
Regarding NNTA, that's always been housed at USF Cutter, the Center for Urban Transportation Research. So I wonder if a Cutter representative / USF representative could be a good alternate, but they do a lot of safety work.
Yes. We do have a Cutter representative
Oh, you
that's
do?
on the roster, and we can encourage more.
Okay. Oh, so we already have one. Okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Thank you.
And then I wanted to also add that including a capital improvement, maybe for a while every month, just to have a roster of the people who are on the committee so that we all kind of know like who the representatives are. And so I think just maybe for the next 6 months, having that roster so that we kind of have an idea of who is here and on the committee as we look for extra people to join. Like who is and isn't represented will be good. In addition to when we know where the gaps are, we can take that back to our networks. So I'm going to ask that that's something that if you don't mind sending out to the group after this meeting, just to kind of kickstart it and have people think about it so that we can all reach out to our networks and say, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And that's part of the reason that I wanted to start with us getting to know each other better. I think last month's meeting was great. We had a lot of engagement, and the more engagement, the more people are going to want to be here in person. So I think that naturally we can improve that. I know that right this week there's a big conference. Apparently a bunch of planners are out. So that's to be expected. So again, we'll always have these challenges, but hopefully we can make this into a committee where people really enjoy coming because we have a lot of good debate and discussion. So, and as far as the recommendation, as he said, we don't necessarily have to vote on it, but how do people feel about that?
Thank you.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, sheet right here.
Thank you so much, Gail.
And then we can pass it around so folks can take a look at it. But again, thank you. And as far as the recommendations, we can either wait till next time or if folks maybe want to speak about that, if that's something that they think is a good idea, Connor can probably get started on that and then we can make an official motion next month. Does anybody have an opinion on removing the defunct New North Tampa Transportation Alliance?
Makes sense. Sure.
I didn't know a new North Tampa Transportation Alliance existed.
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like that, maybe go forward with that and we can get an official action at our next meeting. Yes,
Also,
Karen.
part of the reason there's a fund is because the Florida Department of Transportation used to give commuter assistance program money to the NNTA, the Downtown Partnership, to the West Shore Alliance. And they changed the way that they do things, and now we don't get that funding to promote transportation options. Because we're not supposed to say transportation demand management anymore. Now it's transportation options.
I don't know you aware of it, but what our county commissioners is trying to stop transportation outside of the city. Get it?
Yes.
They are trying to stop transportation outside of the city. So people like that, they don't want more. The city, plan area, they won't have transportation.
Yes, and we're so Arizona was talking about the fact that there is a proposal by a couple of county commissioners or a county commissioner to stop transit outside of the city. And yeah, that is true.
That is very clear, because I live in the city, I have to go to plan it, couldn't stop.
Yeah, so because you have to go to Brandon, even though you live in the city, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah,
But what about the old people that live in the city? How they gonna go to the door, how they gonna get it out? I don't understand.
yeah, how are people gonna get around? That's a very good point. Yeah. Okay.
I think it looks like Kathy made her hand.
Oh, sorry, Kathy.
Oh, it's okay. I just had a quick question. I put it in the chat. How many people actually replied to the survey, Connor?
So I sent this survey out, to the LRC group that I have. Let me know if you didn't receive that, but it should have come in your email, maybe a few days after, or a few days to a week after, the August LRC meeting. It would have come from me.
How many people responded?
Oh, how many people? I'm so sorry. 9 people responded.
9?
Yes.
How many are on the committee?
So not including vacant, I think it's probably about double that.
I'm wondering if maybe we should resend it just to get, since we have to wait anyway, maybe we move forward on this new North Tampa thing as a probable motion, but maybe resend it. I honestly can't remember if I replied to it. I meant to. I don't remember if we did. Because I was surprised to see so many people still wanted the once a month, considering the conversation we had last time at the meeting. So I'm just wondering if people just didn't reply.
Yeah, I could definitely do that if that's the committee's preference. If you would, just some guidance on what questions may be asked again. I know I understand the monthly meeting. We do want to set up our calendar soon, so it might be challenging to have the question about the time of day of the meeting.
I don't necessarily mind the monthly. It's I just remember by our last meeting when there was a quorum, it seemed like maybe that was part of the issue, was that there isn't always an action item or a lot on the agenda at times. And then maybe it might be better to go, if we do it once a month, that maybe it's kind of, I think you said something about maybe canceling them if there isn't something and consolidating next month. Make it a little more fluid, I guess. Is there what I recall anyway?
Absolutely.
As far as the neighborhood representatives, the only caution I would put out there is that it is hard sometimes picking one, because there's neighborhoods everywhere, including in the county. And so you might get one voice that's super strong about what they want, but doesn't necessarily think about the others. So we'd have to be careful to either add one from each, I hate to say just jurisdiction, but maybe multiple. Or if there's a board of like FAN or something where there's heads of it, maybe pick one that could represent all. Same for the county, even though the county's pretty diverse. It's definitely good to have the representation, especially from key neighborhoods that maybe want better transit or better walkability. I know I go to the hearings out here in Flint City now, and they don't have transit. And the last 2 meetings I've gone to have just been some citizens that have gotten up that have said, we really need a bus for the elderly folks just to get around, to get to doctor's appointments. Even in just this small town, they need something. And they would like to be able to get to other parts of the county. So that's just something I throw out there just for my observation.
Okay, thank you.
And I think that's a very good point. One of the categories too is transit user, and that's also kind of vague. So yeah, a neighborhood representative, maybe we can have a urban and a suburban / rural to help kind of expand on that. So maybe instead of one neighborhood representative, two, one's an urban, one's a suburban or a rural, or I mean, I hate to add a million people, but I think that might be a good compromise.
Okay. The only thing I would say about that is it requires to define what the suburban and.
Oh,
urban
okay.
is.
Okay, well then yeah, I guess we can just kind of put it out there and see who responds then.
Okay.
So same for the for any of the other vacant positions. Anything else on this, or can we move on? And I apologize, the clock doesn't seem to be working, so it's 9:30. Just it's frozen, so I don't think it. I think it just stopped. Okay. Anything else? Okay, we will move on to our status report on the Hillsborough County Corridor Preservation Plan.
So I think Chris Bellerhoff from the county is virtual today. He's actually at that same conference.
Oh, okay.
He is online, and I will advance this screen. Chris, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Fellerhoff. I work with Megan in the Community and Infrastructure Planning Department of Hillsborough County. I'm actually presenting from my home in Lutz this morning. I had a change of plans about the conference, but happy to be here with you anyway. What I'm here to share with you today is an ongoing project we've had going for 6 or 8 months now. It's getting close to wrapping up, but share with you where we are and what's to come about it. And it is a study about the needs that go into what is called the Corridor Preservation Plan. So Connor, if you could have the next slide, please. When we refer to the Corridor Preservation Plan, what we're actually referring to is a map within the comprehensive plan. In the mobility section, it is referenced as map number 1. You'll see bigger versions of it in a minute, but it is the small one at the bottom there. And it's referenced by various objectives and policies within the comprehensive plan. And it indicates roadways that will likely need future widening. And this need, once documented, can help guide establishing setback requirements for future development. And that is done in the interest of protecting the long-term transportation needs of the county, and also providing clarity to property owners and potential purchasers of property along these corridors about what their development potential might be, given potential setbacks due to future roadway widening. Next slide, please. So the plan, map 1, has been in the comprehensive plan for a few decades, and it's had some minor periodic adjustments, but it has not been comprehensively reviewed since adoption. So the current study looks at our potential population growth and development patterns out to 2070 to show where changes in this map might be needed. Next slide, please. So we've had our consultants do some analysis on future population trends and potential development patterns to look at future needs for roadway capacity and look at some various scenarios. And we took some initial work products out to the public this summer in the month of July. We had 4 public meetings at places around the county. We also had an open online engagement that was up for several weeks. And so what we shared you'll see on the next couple of slides, were just these existing kind of conditions and analysis maps to get feedback from the public on. So we showed the adopted plan, which is the map on the left. And then we showed sort of a map you see on the right is the existing lane counts on our roadway network, but we've added in any projects that are within the long-range transportation plans cost feasible list, things that are likely to occur and change by the time of 2050. And if we go to the next slide, we also then showed maps that would indicate projects that could be undertaken to meet needs as we had analyzed them out to 2070. That's the map on the left. So that would show yet a different lane count scenario across the network. And then also a sort of a congestion conditions map should those changes come to pass. And we shared those with the public at these events and basically asked for their feedback, and people responded in a lot of different ways. Some just sharing their frustration at the pace of change, some sharing their frustration with congestion, some sharing expressions about their perceived need on roadways that are familiar with them. So right now we're in a process where we have received all that public comment and are incorporating it into a draft corridor preservation plan, a new map with a technical memo. If we could have the next slide, please, Connor. So we're drafting a summary technical memo explaining the process we went through and a draft updated CPP where we looked at that demand that we shared and then also amending it based on the commentary we received from the public. And so we're going to have then a second online engagement in October where we will share that draft updated CPP. And then we will also have maps that for sort of clarity will highlight where recommendations for specific roadways have been changed so that people can really kind of zero in on the changes, because it's a big countywide document. Some things will stay the same, some things will change, and it'll be it's a little difficult to digest quickly without that kind of highlight. So that'll be an online engagement in the month of October, and then we will wrap up after that with recommendations about what we see the future need as. Not specifically targeting an adoption as of yet, but just providing analysis and information for potential future action by the Board of County Commissioners. And I believe that might be my last slide, Connor. Yeah. So if anybody has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them, or you can certainly reach out to me afterwards.
Anyone? I think the only question I have, or the comment, would be when you are reaching out, when you're doing that October online, if we could maybe get the information, will it be an online like meeting, or are we talking about more of a survey?
It'll be using the county's engagement hubs. So it'll be, well, it's a dynamic presentation where people can direct themselves through a number of slides and documents and then offer a comment, but they can do it on their own schedule.
Great.
And I will certainly share with Connor and other TPO reps the links to get to that.
Wonderful. I think that would be great if we could get links to that, and then we can share it with our networks.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Next, we have the Downtown Complete Streets update. and the return of a wonderful friend. Good to see you.
Good to see everybody, everybody online. So it's good to be back. It's my little Roadways family. But today I'm here to talk about, some projects the city of Tampa has for their downtown. So this is just a kind of precursor, but Tampa is growing. Did I do that? There we go. It was the USB thing.
Oh.
Don't know what's going on. Strange. So Tampa is growing rapidly. This is in 2018. And in 4 years, you can see the amount of progress. It's still 2022, so we still have about 3 years after that of progress, especially in this area. So with that, we need to start looking at other modes and to move people and around the area safely and efficiently. So with this, the city has a few projects to build out a multimodal network, a low stress network, protected bike lanes, things like that. So I figured we'd go with the little monopoly theme to kind of show all the different projects that we have going on. First is the Brewery Street Complete Streets project. This was actually completed in August of this year. Cost about $1 million and provides for a protected bike lane on the north side of the road. And then that will connect to some of the other projects that we have on in the following slides. The Twigs Street Complete Streets project is currently in design, and the planned start date is October 26th. It says May 28th, but that's the actual construction will probably start after October and then well in advance of May 28th. It's just the construction phase. So expect to start seeing building out there sometime late 2026. But this provides for a 2-lane bi-directional cycle track on the south side of the road from Ashley all the way to Nebraska. Next is Jefferson Street Complete Streets project. For this one, we actually don't have any kind of plans. There is not a approved proposed typical section, but they are looking at protected bike lanes and possibly a cycle track with protected bike lanes on Jefferson Street in downtown. That would be a good north-south connection, which is lacking right now. Our Florida Avenue Complete Streets project. This one is TBD, but this is to provide some enhanced crosswalks and a protected bike lane on the east side of the roadway. The reason why it's TBD is this also ties into the streetcar expansion, and there's some artifacts in underground that they need to look into, some archaeological investigation that needs to occur. But this was planned as part of the Brewery, Tampa, and Florida Avenue resurfacing downtown and Florida resurfacing. But that got delayed by this terrible traffic engineer who used to work in the city. But that was me for anybody who didn't. But anyways, because of both this and then some of the other issues. So, but now the city wanted to go ahead and move forward with some of the projects in kind of a piecemeal fashion. The Morgan Street Quick Build, this will provide a much needed north-south connection. It's a quick build, 2-lane cycle track, protected cycle track on the west side of the road. This is scheduled for fiscal year 26, and the cost is about $500,000. If you've seen what they have at Cass Street, this is going to be pretty similar to that. And then with this, there's a portion north of, forgetting the roadways, north of Cass, but maybe Tyler, that it is now already in place, but it's just share the road markings. But that goes all the way up to Tampa Heights, and then Tampa Heights has the 2 DOT bike boulevards that are coming down Central and
Ola.
Thank you. It's been a while, so I'm trying to remember all the old projects they used to be able to spit off just like that. But this is the north-south connection, gets you all the way down to Channelside. So, in Water Street. So this is a really needed, bike lane, a really needed multimodal connection. So right now, the only thing that we really have in South Six, Franklin, is probably the best of the best, or the Riverwalk, some, a combination of those two. That would tie into another quick build the city has planned for fiscal year 26-27. The dates, it's kind of just gets into the queue, there's not the exact date, but, this is a $500,000 project to add a cycle lane on the north side of Whiting Street. The rendering kind of shows the intersection of Whiting and Tampa. And I have some more, further slides in the back to kind of give you an idea of how that will all connect.
How far will the quick build go?
So, on the next slide, let me show you. So this combines with the Whiting, the city's project goes to Jefferson. Jefferson to Meridian is the Whiting Street PDD that the Expressway Authority is doing. And if you look at the rendering here, there's a 2-lane cycle track on the north side of the road that is proposed as part of that. So once you have it all together, this is the Whiting Street PDD is in procurement right now, and I believe they selected somebody. So this should be starting soon as design build. But while after this is all in, you'll have a connection all the way from Channelside to really the Riverwalk. So that's where the Riverwalk entrance is at the park there on at Ashley and Whiting. So it's really a connection that gets all the way to the Riverwalk from Meridian Trail to the Riverwalk. And then the project that I'm currently working on, or about to be working on, is Campus Street. This was part of the downtown core police streets. The delay did actually provide for some improvements to this project because instead of doing, what we were planning on doing was bulbouts at the intersections, and that was what was designed before. Since we're breaking up the plans, we decided to take a look into possibly doing some kind of other improvements, and we came up with an idea to do some protected intersections. But this project, the fiscal year, this could actually go sooner. The issue is that the South Selman capacity project is also going to be constructed around this time. So getting contractors in there with having to come in and do some MOT on Whiting or Tampa and Bureen, it's going to be conflicting in that area. However, what we're looking at is a parking protected bike lane. Kind of see what the image would look, or the typical section would look like, be on the west side. And then some of the design elements that we were able to look into is something a little bit newer that when we originally started this project wasn't really the preferred alternative at intersections, but it's a protected intersection. We have a few of these in the city. If you look around Cleveland. On that area west of the river, they have they have these little footballs with like speed tables on. That's a little way to get this little concrete football in there for cheap. But with this, it kind of allows, think of it like a circulatory roundabout around the intersection points. So that's what it becomes. It becomes really protected and allows for really good multimodal travel throughout the intersection. The other nice thing about this is it's actually can be done cheaper. It reduces the pedestrian crossings even more because pedestrians will cross from the existing ramp to the island there, and then they have a place to stop before they go out to the road. So it pushes everything 14 feet out into off the edge of pavement, whereas Waldo might get you 5 to 8 feet, somewhere around there. So it's a lot further. So, you go.
This is Tampa Street and which intersections?
I'll tell you on this.
Sorry.
No, sorry. So this is Tampa and Whiting. So there's really only one intersection that this would occur on. There is something similar at Tampa and Bureen, but because the geometry of Bureen and the one-way nature, you don't really get the same kind of look to it. But this kind of shows what it would look like in the future there. north is to the north, or is up. But you can see the cycle track on the one direction cycle track on the west side there. And some of these floating islands that people will actually go to and stop and they'll wait there. So we're looking at that, and then all the parking is actually outside of the intersection. The bike lane is protected by, it's a parking protected bike lane, so there'll be parked vehicles there and the islands, kind of like what you see on Jackson Street. So how this connects at Brewery, as it comes down, there's like a bike box basically, or kind of a staging area for bikes. This is a one-way road, or two one-way road connections. And you can, so if the cyclist wants to go straight into the little piece that goes underneath the expressway, they can kind of get it in front of the other vehicles that are going straight while they're stopped at the signal. And then one thing I didn't mention that I meant to mention on this one, we are looking at a crosswalk at not Government Street. Sorry, I keep on saying Government Street. It actually may be Government Street or Washington. Sorry, Washington Street, which is actually a city right away, but you wouldn't really know it. It's the entrance between the Fifth Third building, and it's the two buildings where you can go through to Ashley Street, but it has two parking garages right now that come off the Regions and one of the other buildings there. But that little area is actually city right away, even though it looks more like a driveway. So, and there's a ton of people that cross to get to the Starbucks it's in the Hilton and everything. You'll see a lot of people going back and forth. So looking to see if you can get an RFB, an enhanced crosswalk in that area.
And say that one more time.
Bank of America and the Regions building.
Crossing
Tampa
Tampa.
going east-west between Tampa and Ashley, I think what you're saying.
Okay.
It's like the entrance to the parking garages.
Okay.
Is the Bank of America building, is that the one? I always forget, I always think Bank of America's the one that's on, north of, Regions Bank, that area.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's a little concrete roadway. When you go out, it's right across from the Starbucks. So you know the Starbucks entrance off of Tampa Street.
Yeah.
If you go right across the street from there, by Hotel Bar and all that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that would be a good place for a
So
crosswalk.
you got it at Hotel Bar.
Yeah, I did, sorry.
Yeah, I'll reframe everything. I know the happy hours, so you'll use. So, further steps from there is really, how do we get out of downtown? How do we, or not even out of downtown, so how do we cross the river to get to the other side of downtown? And looking into, that gets you elsewhere because you have bike networks. In the South Tampa area, you have West Riverwalk that's going to be in place soon. That gets you up to West Tampa. They're really looking at the network connectivity. Well, on the right, we've already solved some of that by the Cash Free Quick Build that was done in 2023. So it's a little bit different now, as everybody knows, unfortunately, but because of the
It's much safer now that it's black.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So, but that really solved a big connectivity issue that we had. And that was something that brought the connection from or finished the connection of the Cash Free cycle track. Which actually, I don't, are they almost done with the construction on phase 3B and 3C? Almost, yeah, so that's gonna be up there pretty soon, all the way up to 21st. So, that's coming to work really quickly. And then on the left side, the Brewery Street Bridge, this is something that is unfunded. That, bridge construction is very expensive, so this will need to find funding somewhere. But the idea is to actually eliminate one of the 4 lanes, bring it down to 3. You still have all the connectivity. It's the middle lane would end up being a choice lane where you can either peel off and go to Bay Shore, or you can go Cleveland. Right now you have 2 lanes going Bay Shore, 2 lanes going to Cleveland. just combine that middle lane so that you have choice. But what that gets you is a lot of extra space on either side of the bridge for connectivity, for sidewalk connectivity on both sides. It also allows for traffic railings on the bridge that are taller than your cab. So if you do happen to fall off your bike, you're not going into the river. It'll protect you there, and it allows for a traffic barrier between cyclists, pedestrians, and the traffic. So there's a lot of good benefits there, but right now, that is still remains unfunded, but that's the future idea there. So with that, I'd like to open it up for any questions, comments, anything like that.
Eric, I'll maybe talk to you offline about some other things, but I just, with the Florida and Tampa, I didn't notice the reservation of a lane for future streetcar or rubber wheel.
The Florida, the Tampa, it's not gonna be in there now. Anything that would be put out can be easily removed. That's the other thing, like, for the ball bags, we were looking into having to do drainage structures and stuff like that. These are just floating islands, so basically you just pop up the island, repave with the streetcar track in there. So, everything that we're doing, the streetcar, the streetcar project will be more reconstructive than you can kind of future-proof it, but any kind of design, the road is gonna get rebuilt for the streetcar project. So there's really not a lot of future-proofing that you can do. The majority of the stuff that, like when DOT was looking at doing Tampa and Florida, they were actually trying to remove the utilities out of the streetcar path underneath. That would have been helpful. But surface level treatments, it really doesn't matter what you do now. That's going to be such a big project that it's going to have to be rebuilt anyway.
Was there any thought about going ahead and putting a transit only lane?
Well, for not on this project, because for this portion, it really wouldn't make a lot of difference because you're only talking about 2 blocks, really for Campus Street. It's 2 blocks outside of them. Once you get past Jackson, the AATT drops pretty considerably.
Oh, this is just on the city-owned portions of Tampa?
City-owned portion.
Oh, okay.
This is from,
Got it.
I had the limits in each of these cars, but it's Jackson to Burbank.
Okay, I was wondering why the city was designing a state road. Now I get it.
Yeah, and I should mention the Florida Avenue design that they have right now is not, it hasn't been updated to any of the new standards or anything like that. So it's still a design that's 5 to 7 years old. So it look at that little graphic, take it with a grain of salt. It probably won't look like that in the future. But I know with that project, I should mention the other RFB or signal even they were looking at was that one is at Government Street. So I was getting the 2 confused. And that's between the Tampa Center, the Morgan building, and the Fort Worth Garage of the parking lot back there. That would be right there where a lot of people do cross to get to not only to that parking lot, but to the Whiting Street and some of the other parking lots that are around. So that was another crossing that they were looking at.
And I want to say thank you for this. I do a easy Sunday morning bike ride every other Sunday, and this is what we do. We look at future and current bike infrastructure. So this is great. I can't wait to take this back and show some more stuff. But I have to say, we rode Morgan Street and everyone loved it. We really can't wait. And in fact, Morgan is so comfortable that even north of Tampa Street, I use that to go as far as you can on Morgan. And it's really like through most of Tampa Heights, and then to connect back to Ola, you're avoiding the Riverwalk traffic, which is if you are on a bike on a weekend, you kind of gotta avoid the Riverwalk.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Morgan Street is a great north-south connection.
It really is. So it's nice that that's going to be protected down there. And the fact that it connects to the Selman Greenway is just absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I'm not showing any of the trails here on this map that you're seeing now. So this doesn't include any of the trails. This is only protected bikeways, throughout the city, so there's even bike lanes here that aren't shown. But if they're not shown, they're not.
Yeah, no, and but that's the bonus is the protected bike lanes, and I appreciate the way that you're putting parking spots to protect even more where possible. Those are all such good. I'm really excited about the intersection. I'll definitely be watching that and seeing how that goes, because that will help. That will also be protective for pedestrians, and
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of pedestrians, especially from Fort Brook, to get
Yeah.
into some of the other businesses there in the Regis building and all the rest of it. So,
Karen,
If I could just say one more thing, there's a multi-district wayfinding program that's funded by several CRAs underway right now. And, I keep kind of reminding that bicycle wayfinding signage could be part of that program. It doesn't seem to be making it to the top of the priority list, but with all of these great connections, I don't know whether the designs that you guys are doing would include bicycle wayfinding as well, or?
and not necessarily for the project that I'm working on, because that's just one segment, and wayfinding, you kind of need more like a holistic look at the network, but it's not included with that one, but I mean, that's something I can bring back to the city as far as, hey, Ben, I'm bringing it back to the city right now.
Yeah.
As far as ideas.
Yeah, I just wanted to plant the seed with other people, not on the wayfinding committee. So they can look into it.
well,
Thank
that's. I have that on my radar now too, because I actually have lunch with Director McCray right after this. So
Okay.
I will make sure to bring that to his attention as well. So thank you. Yes, Omar.
Yeah, I just want to say from our perspective, just as you all continue to plan these projects, just to coordinate with us as well. There's an example at Uchiho and Seventh, the cycle track over there, where that was like a really good example of coordination, where you guys helped with the bus stop right there. You guys like raised the bike lane a little bit, so it acts as like a pad for transit users. That was a really good example. We've had a few other instances. I'm trying to remember the intersections, but we had to give back of the city because like they put the bollards during implementation where it blocked the bus stop at times. So it was just kind of like it's like let them know that they were being filmed.
Yeah,
it was easy enough. But
yeah, I can actually tell you on Cat Street, that one, we're going off an old standard, right? Or the old standard, but you don't have protection in there. So we're like, well, let's just put it here. We're like, well, if the bollards fall, the bollards fall. It was kind of like, because we got that out in 2 months, so it was real quick. So yeah, there's definitely some learning things there. So actually, you can kind of go back now and see, okay, so what do you actually need for clear distance, see how well these bollards have stayed up and all that other stuff. But yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. Anything else?
Anyone else? Well, I'll have to reach out to you as well offline to learn more about some of the stuff that's coming. So
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if my email's in here, but if I'll put to Connor, I'll send him an email.
great,
And that has my contact information.
wonderful,
But
wonderful.
good to see everybody, or actually Karen has, so if you want
Oh,
to
great,
just get us started. So, Good to
wonderful.
see everybody. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, we have the complete streets update, and now we have the SIS 2050 multimodal unfunded needs plan. So this is a great example, I will say, because we just saw this on the TPO last week of trying to find ways to put this in the meeting prior to the TPO. So,
Good morning,
welcome.
Lori Kent at DOT, and I'm the District 7 SIS or SIS coordinator. This is going to be an overview of the SIS multimodal unfunded needs plan. It's also in coordination with the MPOs and the TPO. The SIS 2050 multimodal unfunded needs plan serves to identify transportation improvements needed for SIS facilities. These improvements are unconstrained by cost and are not yet included in the FDOT SIS work program, the second 5-year plan, or the cost feasible plan. This plan ensures Florida's long-term transportation priorities are recognized even if funding is not yet available. It's important to keep in mind that although a project may be identified as a need by the SIS program, it is not guaranteed to receive funding or an endorsement of the project. The goals of the SIS unfunded needs plan are to identify unfunded transportation needs, covers all of the modes, includes existing and future SIS eligible facilities. All projects are documented, but does not include any projects already in the work program, the SIS 5-year or the cost feasible. The update process takes about 18 months from kickoff to adoption. Months 1 to 3, initial review of the 2045 needs plan to determine which projects remain unfunded and should be retained. Months 4 to 9, we have pulled the LRTPs and working to identify projects and use traffic modeling to identify needs based on population growth and land use. We are currently starting months 10 to 15, which is the development of the draft plan, including district maps, tables, and regional profiles. MPOs and TPOs and stakeholders will have the opportunity to review the plan once it is ready. Month 16 to 18 is when we do the final review by senior management and then adoption by the executive board. As I said, the MPOs and TPOs play a key role in identifying needs through their LRTPs and regional plans. Coordinations also include regional transportation authorities, local governments, and mobile transportation partners. The DOT district handles local coordination and reports back to central office SIS program via monthly teleconferences. Project needs are identified using the MPO and TPO LRTPs, the regional transportation authority plans, partner agency plans, traffic modeling and analysis, statewide, regional, and local models, level of service analysis to detect future roadway capacity issues, and statewide modal master plans for aviation, freight, rail, seaports, spaceports, and transit. GIS and data visualization will help map those project locations. The plan consists of individual district maps and tables, which will list cost and locations of unfunded projects, regional profiles, including economic and demographic overviews of each of the regions, an executive summary, which is a high-level overview of identified needs by district and mode. For the final review, once the final draft is ready, the MPOs, TPOs, districts, and SIS staff will conduct a review of the draft plan. After senior management approval, the final draft is presented to the executive board. Once adopted, the plan serves as a guiding document for future funding considerations. The SIS 2050 multimodal unfunded needs plan is essential for shaping our long-term transportation needs. It identifies long-term unfunded transportation needs. It assures that the MPOs and TPOs and their regional priorities also align with SIS needs. It uses data-driven methods to validate the needs and ensures all of the potential SIS projects are documented for future consideration. Our next steps will involve ongoing coordination, updates, and preparation for the next planning cycle. And I know you had made the comment, I just wanted to add that you had made the comment about having it before. Once we get the final draft, we will get them out to the committees before, because we will ask you to vote on them and approve them.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think my, first, does anyone have any questions? And then secondly, you know, how do, you said you're gonna be going back out still to the public?
Not so much to the public, because we pulled, we do most of ours is through traffic modeling.
Okay.
And also it's needs. And there's some things that if you looked at the list that you have, you'll probably see something and go, why are we even looking at it? It's a need. We know that there's a need. We may not go out and do it, but we need to look at it and we need to keep it on our radar and know that there's a potential need in the future. And it's
Okay.
just so that we can keep track of it.
Great. So I was just saying, I mean, so we'll be able to, provide some input.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Once we get that draft, which we were supposed to have the snapshot done 2 weeks ago, and the wonderful tool that we use decided it wasn't going to work. And of course, we were the first that found that out. So we're about 2 weeks behind. So hopefully,
Fair.
I'll know Monday. I'll know
Great.
Monday when they're gonna pull the snapshot.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So we will move on to, does anyone have any old business? I kind of have a little bit of old business, sort of old, but not quite. Last night in the budget, committee, or, the budget, the first draft, we approved the city budget for FY 26 last night, and on the first round of voting 2 weeks ago, we did receive unanimous council support for continuing funding of Route 1. The fare free has been taken off for fiscal and like projection reasons, but in its stead, what through the surveys where we asked people and through working with Heart staff, what was determined is that frequency is what the biggest need was. So instead of just being every 15 minutes from Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., it will now be 15 minutes, every 15 minutes, still 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. But on the weekends now, instead of 30 minutes, it will be every 20 minutes from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And on Monday through Friday, it will be 20 minutes, every 20 minutes from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we are kind of expanding that, trying to get people to use it more on the weekends. The goal will be to, get people to learn how to pay for the bus and, continuing advocacy around bus riding, but also doing the one thing that people said they wanted more than anything, which was a frequency improvement. So, yes, Omar?
Yeah, and I just wanted to add a few other things from the Heart side too. So regarding the free fares being taken off in January, we're starting like an education campaign about the fares coming back to inform riders and inform the public that the fares are going to be coming back. And to your point about like how to pay the fares, like Flamingo, that's our e-fare program, and cash, just letting them know the options. And then also, yeah, I think the frequency on the Route 1, but especially on the weekends, is going to be really big. I mean, we've been noticing just like a lot of crowding on weekends in particular, weekdays too, but weekends is especially an issue because it comes every 30 minutes and the buses have just been really packed. It's been really negatively impacting on-time performance of the buses. So on the weekends, it's been a significant problem, down to like the 40% on-time levels, which is not up to our standards. So it's a lot of good news. And then I think also with the fares going away, the free fares going away, we did notice we've started analyzing this. We don't have we're working kind of like a summary report with, like assessing the Route 1 fare free. But we believe that some of the riders on the Route 400, possibly the Route 9, they've moved to the Route 1. It's actually that ridership decreasing on those routes and then all concentrating on the Route 1 because it's free, because it's still that connection from downtown to University area. So we do think that once the fare is put back on, we'll probably see ridership grow on those routes, but it's not necessarily like a system ridership growth. It's just going to be redistribution essentially. So yeah, the frequency I think is exciting. So it's, good to hear that as going forward.
Yeah, and that's the thing that they're recalibrating, but also, how many people stay with that because of the frequency.
I was just gonna ask if that's still being funded by parking revenue?
Yes, it is. It is still being funded by parking revenue. And again, that was important for a lot of folks. It's also where we had the money this year. So
But I know you were thinking about it east-west.
Um,
Not this time.
That was a hope, but we simply didn't have the funding for that this year.
Okay.
That was a struggle, but again, the reasons for continuing to focus on Route 1 is because it is a potential BRT route, and that is what we need to continue that connection with the streetcar. And, hoping to be able to grow it, but if we are able to grow Route 1 and have the fare and have the frequency to see what the frequency does now that we've brought attention to the fact that this is a route that runs. As Omar said, the weekend, it's just been, people are complaining about the busyness of the bus on the weekends. So it was kind of a next step, and unfortunately would have been more expensive. And we didn't have the ability to keep it free and to improve the frequency on the weekends. So,
I think that's the right choice. I agree with you.
well, again, also, we really want to get people used to riding the bus like a bus is normally ridden. So it's also a fiscal issue. So just kind of doing the balance. But in addition to that, really exciting news. Additionally, last night, I met with the Parks Department and we were able to fund a asphalt path that connects Green Artery segment D and E with an asphalt path through the River Tower Park.
Oh, yay.
So we will be able to do that as well. So that is also a multimodal win. So you will be able to use that whole park. Right now, there is a boardwalk that goes under 275 already, so that's being improved actually right now. And then the bridge to fix the, to go over the manatee watching area by the pool is also going to be fixed this year. So there'll be a really wonderful route that connects those two routes, of the two segments of the Green Artery that FDOT and the city have been finishing. So it's really a wonderful win. So two really great wins for multimodal throughout the city. So I just wanted to share that. I was excited. And then also, I assume some new business if anybody wants to talk about World Car Free Day.
Well, we have a limited group. We are very excited about our third annual World Car Free Day. This is something that Walk Bike Tampa has coordinated each year. In partnership with the Tampa Downtown Partnership, the West Shore Alliance, Pedal Power Promoters, Sidewalk Stompers, and joining us this year, Tampa General Hospital. City of Tampa has made it possible for us to coordinate a permit each year, which has been great. The idea is to get out there and find out what it's like to experience the city through different forms of mobility. Most of us have experienced it in a car, but there are other options. There's transit, there's walking, there's biking, and a lot of people are just not necessarily aware of the routes that are available. So at each of our activity hubs at Midtown, Downtown, Ybor City, and in East Tampa at Tampa Well, these are places where you can leave your car and explore on foot. And each of these are connected by either a transit route and or a bike route, and we are showcasing on the bike routes some of Tampa's best bike infrastructure. There's some bad stuff in there as well, but for these routes, these are some of the places that is really comfortable to ride, even for me, because I am not a very daring rider. We have the Critical Mass Bike Ride that will be at 10 a.m. Bikes from the Heart is there to give away bikes to children who would like to participate but don't have a bike. Johns Hopkins All Children's will be providing helmets for anybody that day at the Critical Mass Ride. Mayor Castor will be kicking us off. As I mentioned, Lynn will be leading the ride, and we have additional ride leaders helping. This is not a blocked off ride. This is an opportunity for students to experience what it's really like to be an urban cycler. We stop at lights and we pay attention to our surroundings, and we are in a cycle track, so it is fairly well protected, but it is a good learning experience for the kids. Do you want to add stuff?
No, you nailed it.
Wonderful. Well, I hope anybody can join us. And if you have any children you'd like to give us to ride with, we would love that too. There's a sign up for that, for the ride, just so we know how many bikes to give away on the Walk Bike Tampa website, World Car Free Day page.
I guess I'll just add, this is the third year and it's grown every year. So if you have ideas for future expansion or more places to connect or groups that can lead rides or.
It's really amazing the number of businesses in our area that have chosen to engage on it this year. And especially large developers who are seeing this kind of connectivity as a part of our city's development. The point of World Car Free Day is to get people's brains thinking about how to experience the city differently. And it seems like the business community is engaged with that. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, we had a great easy Sunday morning ride prep ride for that. And we got a chance to experience the cycle, the Gray Street cycle, protected street cycle track. And that was great. And yeah, so definitely we stopped at a business. So stopped at a local business. And so yeah, it's always nice to do that. If no one has anything else, if you have I'm so sorry.
What day is what day is
Saturday,
Thank you.
Saturday, 9 to 2.
And where you get wait.
The Kittical Mass Bike Ride is at 10 a.m. and it's at Cass Street and Gasparilla Plaza, which is kind of where Cass Street and the Riverwalk meet. That's where the start of the ride is, and that's where the Bikes from the Heart will have bikes for children. There are also some bikes being raffled off, some new bikes, because Bikes from the Heart are refurbished bikes.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. If there's anybody who has their capital improvement project, if you've circled a couple of things, if you want to just give them to Connor at the end and we can just see where we go from this. This is a new idea. So if there's any other ideas for how to get some what we want to see come in front of us, please don't hesitate to reach out to Connor or myself. And anything else?
Yeah, I have two things I just want to bring your attention to in your packet that you also received your email. We have the Walk of Remembrance flyer. I believe the individual's name is Alexis and Miranda, who passed away about 10 years ago, almost to the day. So the TPO is hosting a silent Walk of Remembrance on October 5th, which I believe is Sunday. And then also in the addendum, which there's a link to as well. We did provide the attendance as it stands for LRC. So I'll print those out next time, but I want to bring your attention that it's there.
So thank you.
Yeah, I want to also online, the Hot Plus, customer limits has changed. Where you can book, online. You can book it 3 days in advance. So you can book it for 1 month.
So you can book it a whole week
Yeah.
in advance? Okay.
Oh, for the Heart Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they recently changed some of the Heart Plus booking rules. I know, I think they changed the window on it, but I can bring that comment back. to
Yeah,
them as well.
it did, that's good. But you know how this song every 3 days. If you know where you're gonna go, you can just book it for the whole week.
Oh, great. So you don't have to do it every 3 days. You can book for the whole week. So that's an improvement that you like. Great. Good. Good to know.
We love transit good
I'll
news.
take the win, yeah.
Yeah, transit good news is transit good news. So again, I just want to thank folks for coming, and whether they're online or in person. Again, we're going to continue to work to make this committee more interactive and focused on the things that everybody is interested in. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming. I really appreciate you and the time that you give to this committee. I hope everyone has a fabulous rest of the month and enjoys World Car Free Day in whatever way they can. And if not on the day, another
Yeah,
day.
there you go.
Yeah. And if nothing else, we're adjourned.
Everything did, so.